Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. Be blessed by the divine. May Guru's blessings help us successfully complete today's session. Good morning, all. For the past few days, we've been looking on various topics based on and discussing about various topics based on the book The Journey of Consciousness by our Guru Vethathiri Maharishi. In this book, we have already covered the topics: the purpose of yoga, the value of yoga, about karma yoga, duty consciousness, almighty truth and consciousness. So today, we shall be starting a new chapter, chapter 8, Philosophy of Life. Philosophy is something that we've heard a lot in just a normal regular life. So if we say what actually the term philosophy is, if we define it, in a dictionary we find that philosophy means the study of ideas and beliefs about the meaning of life. Or in other words, we can also say philosophy is a set of beliefs that tries to explain the meaning of life or gives rules about how to behave. In short, philosophy is just like a guideline on how to live life and understand life. Now, if we take a survey in any society, if we take a small survey of different age group, people of different ages, people of different work and background, if we see that every person will tell that they have some sort of a problem, that is for sure. If it is a kid who's not going to school yet, then it will be like, my parents are scolding me for going and playing outside. If it is a school-going children, a school-going girl or boy, or just children, they say about school pressure, studying and those kind of problems. If it is a college life, then again some of those related further study problems. If we see for working class people, working age people, they say tensions about office, tension about home works, and also family issues, if any, like financial or something of that sort. So every person in this world accepts that life of a man is full of problems. It is readily accepted that everyone does have a problem. But we fail to understand, or we do not accept that there are solutions to all the problems. Actually, we may know that we actually have solutions for this problem, but we are not ready to accept it. We fail to realize that we carry their solutions with us as well. Albert Einstein once said, "The formulation of a problem is often more essential than its solution." That is, understanding how the problem was caused, or what is the root cause of the problem, is actually more important than its solution. If we think about it, it is actually true. Because if we find what is the root cause, if we find what was the main problem that caused such a huge problem for us, then that will be already the solution for the problem. We will already know what mistake we've done that has caused us into such a huge trouble. So, understanding the root cause of a problem easily gives us the solution for the problem as well. Now, there's another saying in Tamil in which they actually mean that we have curd and we are looking for butter. But we always fail to understand that curd can itself be churned to form butter. But we still wander for butter here and there. So we wander for something that we already have. Just using a little brain can actually help us solve the problem very easily. Our life problems too are like that. We can easily solve it. Now, Maharishi has actually explained the philosophy of life by actually talking about problems, how to prevent it and how to cure it. Starting with, does every person in this world, does every creature and organism in this world have a problem? Why a problem hits us every day? Does plants and animals have problems? Let's take an example of a papaya plant if we see. It has a seed, it grows from a seed, it lacks locomotion, so it stands still. It starts from seeds, lacks motion, but it lives. It makes its own food, and it's fine with what it has. It enjoys its life. It is only when some sort of an external factor affects it that a problem is caused. Similarly, we see for other animals as well, up to 5 sense organisms. Again, they do not have any problem. In the sense, they get what they eat, they have a place to live, they have a safe place to live, and have a happy family. So, their desires does not exceed their needs. What they need is what they want and what they like. So, there's nothing that actually goes beyond their desire, and that overcoming the limit or going beyond the limit is actually the cause for problems. Their will, the animals and other plants' wills and actions are subdued by the nature. That is, they cannot overcome the nature's power. So there's no conflict between them. It goes in hand with nature. The actions of the 5 sense organisms, up to the 5 sense organisms, goes hand in hand with nature, and hence there is no problem for them. A lion hunts only when it's hungry. An ant colony also stores food, but only stores up to what is needed. It does not store so much. So, there's no requirement for a problem to arise. Or in other words, they do not go in a wrong direction that actually causes a problem. So, it is easy for them to live, and since their desires are not beyond their needs. Now, why does a problem come to us, the human living beings? If we see, initially when the human beings actually started arising, the nomadic periods, or even today, the tribals, if we see, they do not have much problems as of how much we have today. That is because all their actions go hand in hand with nature. What they do is something that what nature would like us to do. Every action of theirs is something that does not hurt the nature or does not hurt the laws of nature. So this is the main reason why we suffer from problems. Sometimes what happens is, giving a new pass to someone actually starts to overpower them, and they try to get over smart and things of that, and turns upside down. Similarly, when man was given the ability to think and actually control their actions, what he tried to do is try to win nature. He started to have desires and wants that was against the nature. So this caused problems. If the actions and wills of the person is in harmony with the nature, that's when we call it instinct. That is, it goes hand in hand with nature, just as I said earlier, the nomads and tribal life. When a person goes against the nature, those actions may be a success or a failure. So, whether it is a success or failure, it creates a problem. When it creates a problem, it takes time to get resolved. And this time causes a lot of trouble. This period between problem and solution becomes one of the trouble and disturbance both to the mind and body of a human. So, this is something that's not required actually. We can also explain this with a story. The story of a young lady named Matilda. She arose from a poor family, and she was married off to a poor family as well. She knew she was poor and she was kind of happy with it, but she always wanted a rich life. She always wanted that luxurious life. And she also had a friend who was actually rich. Seeing her, she was not selfish, but she also she was happy for her, but also wished one day, what if I had that life? I would be really happy. So she wasn't happy with what she had, having a poor life. She always wanted to have a rich life. Once, her husband's employers had actually hosted a party, and she had to go. But she was scared since those people were actually rich. Her husband's employers were actually rich. She was feared of being judged or made fun of. So what she did was she started borrowing her clothes. She started borrowing some good pieces of necklace from her rich friend, so that she can also show and express herself rich just in front of the other rich people. So she borrows a necklace. She goes for the grand occasion, and it was a success. People believe that the way she expressed herself as a rich person was really impressive, and people actually believed she was rich. And she found it successful. But when she reached home, she found that the necklace was lost. She had lost her friend's real necklace. She was really worried about that. She again feared being judged by her friend and being called as a thief by her friend. She did not want that to happen. So what she did, she and her husband together borrowed a lot of money from so many people, and she actually bought an original piece just like the necklace and replaced that necklace, the lost one, with another brand new one with her own earned money, and gave it to her rich friend. Now, this loan, she had such a huge debt that she knew she couldn't repay, but she had to do because she feared being judged. So she had to do domestic assistant works for like long years, for 10 years, and then only she could actually repay the loan. Was it actually necessary? If we see all her hard work, was it actually something that the nature wanted her to do? Was it something that nature caused her to do? The answer is definitely no. So she actually tried to win the nature of her being rich, her being poor. She was not ready to accept the fact that she was actually poor. So she started doing that, she suffered a lot. It took a long time for her. That created a lot of trouble for her, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So such things against the nature will eventually lead to a lot of distress for us. Now if we see, prevention is much better than cure. That is something that so many people tell. Even in various medical issues or cases, prevention is better than cure, something that we see everywhere, even in today's world. So, in this case too, this is the answer. Prevention is much better than cure, much easier than cure, I would say. So, what is the prevention here? Before seeing what is the prevention, we should see why should we prevent. If we see that, we can easily understand that it's much easier to actually avoid such problems, avoid such things, and lead a happy life. Now, what is it? Why should we prevent things? The span of a man's life is limited. If he spends most of his life undergoing pain and misery created by his will and actions, then he will not fulfill his purpose of birth. It is something that's not necessary, very unnecessary. This is not the purpose of life. It distracts the purpose of life. So, and it gives a lot of pain and misery that's actually not necessary at all. You can easily go. For this, we can take a mind map sort of a thing. There are two ways that God has given us. We can choose any one. One way is not a very good way. It's a very rough way, filled with sins, filled with karmas, filled with falls and hurts, deep falls, a lot of pain and misery to be faced. And all you have to do is work hard and give so much mental pressure, and definitely it takes a long time. Another method, another way is much easier route. It's a very easy road. No falls, no scars, no problems, only happiness and peace. All you have to do is just one thing: faith and belief in the Almighty. If you do that, you can easily achieve that. It is our choice that we choose something which is prominent for us, whether you want to go through the rough path or the smooth, easy route. Now if we see how to actually attain this easy route, or how to get into this easy route. The first one is, the problems by will should be reduced, or the creations of problems produced by the will should be reduced and stopped. If we do that, if we start actually thinking before we act, thinking our thought before we act, then easily we can prevent a lot of problems. If we prevent a lot of problems, we will prevent the accumulation of more and more sins. If we prevent accumulation of sins, we can easily get back to the easy route. Now, second, and Maharishi has given us a solution for this problem that is reducing the problems by will by analysis of thought. The topic analysis of thought. Actually doing this practice can help us easily analyze our thoughts, analyze our thinking, and then we can easily control and properly implement our actions and reduce so much problem. That is actually unnecessary. The second one is to solve problems with laws of nature. For this, we can take the examples of rules in the UAE. You know, the rules in UAE are really strict. Whether it is traffic rules or any rule, government rules, everything is very strict. If we know that a particular law is very strict, and the authority is very powerful, very much more powerful than us, what we do? We calmly, we follow the procedure and we follow the law. But over here in India, we know though the authority is powerful, we do not follow it. Because we know it is under our control. So, similarly, if we actually know that and understand that the nature is much powerful than us, if we actually understand the functionings of the nature and understand that we cannot overpower the nature, then we will automatically start to follow and realize it. So this can be created by constant awareness. Constantly being aware of what we are doing, constantly being aware of the fact that we cannot overpower the nature can help us easily solve so many problems and also reduce so many problems. Thirdly, providing opportunity for all. Opportunity for everyone in the society to enjoy birthright, full freedom would actually enable them to reach the goal of perfection. If there's no problem, if there's no burden of in our path, we will definitely not bother anymore. If there's a hurdle in our path, then what we do? We go to the next track. If we have a problem in that track as well, we move on to the other track. But if there's no problem, it's just a one single smooth road, we will never bother anyone else. Similarly, if a person in life is given with all the rights that a person should require in a decent living, for a decent living, then the person is not very likely to actually disturb others or bother others and create problems for others. This will automatically reduce the sins again and push us towards the good route or the easy route. Now, how to achieve these? That is, reducing the problems created by will, solving problem, understanding nature, and also providing opportunity. How do we achieve these three factors? That is, by regulating our moral behavior. Regulating our moral behavior is something that we've been instilled in or has been cultured within us since our very childhood. With the help of our parents and society, we've learned to respect others, to understand others, and to feel content with what we have. If we feel so, when we respect others or understand others, we actually understand ourselves. We realize that those people are also valuable in this nature. Those people are also very important in this society. So we are not going to consider them lower than us or consider ourselves high, superior to them. So easily our problems will be reduced. And hence we can reduce the accumulation of sins. If we feel content about what we have, as the story I had said earlier, if we felt content about what we have, we can easily reduce a lot of unnecessary problems that come into our life. This is something that we've been cultured to, and we are being given a lesson to since our childhood. Another thing is, after regulating our moral behavior, we should have a sufficient material prosperity. That is, to live a life that does not bother others or bother ourselves, trouble others or trouble ourselves. Sufficient material prosperity refers to having a very decent living, a house to live, some good food to eat, some proper requirements to do our basic amenities, and that's what we call a decent living. What will happen if we don't have that? If we don't have proper materials, if we give everything out to others and we don't have anything, then what will happen? It will only increase our burden. Now we don't have a place to stay, what will we do? If we don't have a place to if we don't have food to eat, what will we do? So it will only restrict our path towards the Almighty, or towards emerging with the Almighty. It only restricts. Though people sometimes consider that as a huge thing, as a charity or something. Charity is something that we give from what we have, not just giving everything we have. So we have to understand that will only cause us more trouble, it increases our sins as well, because we start to mentally hurt ourselves because we don't have anything. So that should also be reduced. At the same time, having excessive material prosperity. That is, again, what we do, if we have excess money, excess properties to take care of, we have the fear of being of the property being stolen away, or the property should be protected by us. So we are constantly in that aspects of mind. That is, we are always scared about what would happen to that, because you have so many things to maintain. Hence, sufficient material prosperity is required. Lastly, you have to realize the nature and the cause and effect system. Actually, in philosophy of life, if we see, everywhere, everything that we do at the end comes and connects to realizing the nature and cause and effect system. So, if we actually understand and realize cause and effect system, the nature, the functioning of nature, we can easily understand the meaning of life, the philosophy of life. Now, Maharishi has given us 5 subtopics under philosophy of life for easy explaining it much more easier, to understand it much more easier. First, expansion of mind. Expansion of mind here is again about realization of nature, about technology and science. Second topic is needs and protections. Third, 3 virtues. Fourth, faith, understanding and realization. And fifth is the goal of religion. We shall see each one of these subtopics slowly and understand each of them clearly. First, expansion of mind. What actually is expansion of mind? Expansion of mind is realization of nature. Realization of nature is understanding every phenomena of nature, both objective and subjective. So, understanding and realizing what nature actually is what we call realizing it. If we understand and realize nature, we can easily understand that science is actually nature explained in words. If we take an example, suppose we take an example of the gravitational force. Gravitational force is a natural force. It is a function of nature. It is a power of nature. But it was discovered in science, it was defined and explained in science, and it also helped us understand and discover so many other things that was based on gravity, like the mass of planets and so many other things. So, though gravity or gravitational force is a function and mode of nature, it was with the help of science that we were able to understand it. Similarly, another force of nature that actually helped us today, and we are also using it till today, is magnetism or electromagnetic waves. It was again discovered in science, defined and explained in science, and also has improved so much and provided us with great technologies that has actually the technologies that are behind the creation of phones and so many other things. So technology, here Maharishi says, is just the implementation of science based on philosophy in order to achieve material prosperity, moral behavior, happy, successful, peaceful life. If we say technology, that is phones, as I said earlier, it is just understanding the nature, understanding the electromagnetic waves of nature, understanding magnetism that is present in nature through science. So, the knowledge about nature, in other words, we can say technology is just even more further knowledge about nature, but through science. So, understanding the link between technology and science helps man be free of emotions and become conscious about his actions, because he knows whatever we do, everything, every technology, science, philosophies, everything is something that depends on nature, something that is from the nature. So the root of everything here is nature and the Almighty. Science and technology actually aim at helping man increase material prosperity, increase the having a happy life for a human being. It only helps people live in a much better way, in much comfortable way, and comforts good living. But philosophy actually is like a guideline for a man. Understand, technology is something that helps man. The philosophy behind the technology is actually something that should guide the man in regulating the activities in a virtuous way. That is understanding nature again. Maharishi here says that philosophy and science should be joined together to coordinate the activities of a man. That is, philosophy and science should be joined and understood properly to actually coordinate the activities of man. Maharishi also says this is what he refers to. Maharishi refers to this understanding this coordination, this link between philosophy and life as the philosophy of science is actually the philosophy of life. Understanding this relationship between philosophy and science is what Maharishi says to be the philosophy of life here. So, understanding what nature is, understanding functioning of nature, understanding philosophies and science, technology is what all constitutes for us to have a healthier, broader vision about what philosophy of life is. We shall see the later parts in the upcoming classes. Thank you all for patiently listening till now. It is not easy for me to actually get such a great opportunity, not easy for any person actually to get this opportunity. So thank you for all the masters, thank you to all the masters, Mustafa, Alain and Abu Dhabi masters for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. Be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine, be blessed by the divine.